So friends, I mean the fans of MCU, have been waiting for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 from 6 years now. The wait has been so long, that it's hit very hard to believe that it's actually here. The big trilogy capper is in theaters worldwide, and with it, so is James Gunn's extremely emotional and powerful story, following his favorite team of cosmic misfits. But what were the biggest reveals, and plot developments the movie held for those watching? So we are bringing you 11 biggest moments and scenes, that fans would consider major spoilers. And will fuck your mind. So just watch on your own risk. Major spoilers ahead. So fans, we all know the promotional theme of Volume 3 is all about emotional story and someone is dying. And that's why the first spoiler is the biggest spoiler. So guys, the first spoiler is none of the Guardians dies. To the surprise of everyone, James Gunn's big Marvel Studios swan song does not result in anyone from the original team dying. The most notable deaths of the movie go to Elizabeth Debicki's Aisha, and Chukwudi Iwuji's High Evolutionary. However, the majority of the Guardians decide to go their own ways for various reasons. And we will talk about it later in more details. The second spoiler is also very big, because the whole Volume 3 is set up on it. The second spoiler is Rocket's tragic origin story. We all know High Evolutionary take Rocket as a baby raccoon, and at that time Rocket's name is 89P13. According to the High Evolutionary, 89P13 was his best experiment. But after naming himself Rocket, Rocket made a discovery which made our intelligent raccoon's brain extremely valuable, but not the whole package. Shortly after his sentient elevation, Rocket meets his cellmates Lila, Teefs, and Floor, whose whole story video and comic origin is in the suggestions and description also. However, after Rocket's elevation, he wants everyone to be free. Sadly, all 3 friends of Rocket are killed, after Rocket unsuccessfully tries to break them out, after learning that their creator intends to kill them. After losing the only friends he's ever known, Rocket basically tears the face off his creator before fleeing to start his own life. The third spoiler shows us the Sovereign's origin, which was never revealed in Volume 2. In the Volume 2, the Sovereign's people were mostly used as an obstacle to the titular team, but in Volume 3 their people were given some unexpected backstory. Because it was all connected to the Volume 3's villain. In the backstory of Sovereign Society, they were revealed to have been created by the High Evolutionary, with the creator intending for Adam Warlock to be the perfect version of them all. However, that was before Warlock was taken out of his pod early, leading to his childlike nature in the film. In MCU, Guardians is the only franchise which shows us more universe and planets than any other movie, and in the Volume 3 it remains same. However, before the end, its new planet does not remain same at all. And that is our fourth spoiler. We know Peter Quill aka Star-Lord is from planet Earth, but that was way back. However, Volume 3 shows us a look-alike of planet Earth. In the halfway through the film, audiences are introduced to this Counter-Earth. Counter-Earth is a recreation of the original Earth, which is populated with the High Evolutionary's animal-human hybrids. The introduction of such a big set piece is exciting, as it could be further explored in different contexts down the line in other MCU films. However, High Evolutionary villain had other plans here, like wiping his creation's slate clean. As the result, in the Volume 3, Counter-Earth is destroyed on screen, and with it millions, possibly billions of living sentient lifeforms are extinguished, and our Guardians barely make it off alive themselves. Before the Volume 3 it was speculated that some Guardians are going to die. But we already tells you that it didn't happen. But then what happens to our Guardians? And these are our upcoming spoilers. So first, start with Drax the Destroyer. Back before the release of Volume 3 in January of this year, the actor Dave Bautista formally said goodbye to the role of Drax the Destroyer, noting how it was a relief to be done, and that the process of becoming Drax wasn't all pleasant due to the makeup. Although after that, fans started to speculate that the character is going to die. However, at the end of the film, Drax doesn't seem to be going anywhere. While he isn't a part of Rocket's newly minted team, he does take on a father figure role for all the rescued children from High Evolutionary. The introduction of Phyla Vell seems to open the doors for Marvel Studios to properly introduce Drax's late daughter Moondragon, who in the comics isn't quite as dead as he thinks. And she also connects to the new character Phyla Vell, who happens to be her love interest. After putting the Destroyer in this unique place character-wise, it would be a shame if Bautista never returned to explore that hypothetical storyline with his daughter. Now we know what happens to Drax the Destroyer, but what about the other characters? So let's go. Now comes the Peter Quill aka Star-Lord with spoiler number 6. After the death of Gamora in Infinity War, we all know Peter Quill's character is got little sad. But once all is said and done, Peter Quill finally comes to the heartbreaking acceptance that this new Gamora, pulled straight from 2014, will never be the same one he lost in Avengers Infinity War. In the end, Peter also realized, like Rocket, that he's been running for most of his life. It's time to finally face the music and head back to Earth, and that's exactly what he does. So, taking a break from the Guardians of the Galaxy, Peter goes to Earth to reunite with his grandfather, played by Greg Henry, and spend some time on the planet he had avoided for decades. Thanks to the second post-credits tag, Marvel Studios confirmed that the legendary Star-Lord will return. And this makes sense, given how Chris Pratt's hero is now in the perfect place to be brought back into the mix when Kong the Conqueror starts causing trouble in Avengers: The Kong Dynasty. And now comes the live life of Star-Lord, Gamora. We all know this variant of Gamora is not our original Gamora, who is madly in love with Peter Quill and other Guardians. However, this variant of Gamora does grow closer to the Guardians of the Galaxy member, but there's another family she got in the movie. At the end, instead of staying in Nowhere with the remaining Guardians, Gamora heads back to the Ravagers, which include the members of Yondu's old team. And Zoe Saldana also recently announced that it is the end of Gamora for her. Although the ending of the movie does not imply she's done with the MCU quite as strongly. However, like Peter Quill, it places her in a perfect point for Marvel Studios to use the character whenever and wherever the company wants. So fans, now we got Gamora, Drax, and Peter Quill. So the remaining is Nebula. Just like everyone else, Nebula finds herself a new calling, leading the people in City of Nowhere. It's quite a change from where audiences first met her in the original 2014 film. This also puts Nebula in a fantastic place in the MCU, where she can easily be integrated and weaved into other cosmic stories. Fans can probably expect Nowhere's importance to only grow from here. Perhaps, if the Eternals get their sequel, they could find use in a weaponized decapitated celestial head. And now comes the last remaining team members, who are most important to this story. Going into this movie, fans were worried sick that this would be the last time Bradley Cooper's voice graced the MCU. However, it's quite the opposite, because Rocket Raccoon is now the leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Which is not a quite big shock, because we all think about this at a time in MCU. He's even put together a new team, which includes a much larger Groot, Adam Warlock, Kraglin, Cosmo, and Phyla-Vell. Thanks to his experiences over the course of the film, and the second chance given to him by the Guardians of the Galaxy, Warlock becomes an ally to Rocket and his crew. Kai Zen's Phyla-Vell is the biggest addition to the team, and could prove to be a pivotal cosmic character in the MCU in the coming years. And here comes the last spoiler of this entire video. Is High Evolutionary dies at the end of the movie, or does he? At the end of Volume 3's big climatic act, the Guardians team up and take on High Evolutionary's cronies and then the man himself. It doesn't take long until the squad subdues the big bad. However, after all what happened to our heroes and especially Rocket, instead of killing High Evolutionary, Rocket chooses to spare the life of his former creator, leaving the villain to go down with the ship. While audiences see High Evolutionary's spacecraft explode, which we see many times in the MCU, the pivotal moment of death for Iwuji's character isn't shown on screen, that thing we also see in MCU before. So, if Marvel Studios ever really wanted to, its creatives could easily find a way to bring High Evolutionary back into the picture. While the movie feels fairly conclusive to James Gunn's trilogy, it's strange so many actors have painted the picture that they are done with those roles. Each and every member is in a new, unique place, and it would be a shame not to explore each and every one of them at some point in the MCU's future. Either way, Marvel's cosmic side of the equation is now in a new era, and viewers might see some of these new changes as early as the Marvels later this year. Besides the upcoming Captain Marvel sequel, the cosmic corner of the MCU is looking pretty sparse. Currently, there are only Avengers: The Kong Dynasty, Secret Wars, and a Nova project confirmed. One would also assume that an Eternals sequel is on the cards at some point too. So guys, that's it for today. What are your thoughts on this movie? Please tell me in comments. Because I think it is great. And if you like this video, please like and also don't forget to subscribe for more amazing videos. Thank you for watching. See you soon with ending and post-credit explanation videos.